Adrian, thank you, and a very good evening to you on one of the biggest nights in Aston Villa's proud history. And it's been some time in coming. They say that you can only truly relish the good times when you've experienced the bad. And such is the nature of the Villa journey that every supporter here in Istanbul, bedecked in claret and blue, will fully appreciate the moment. Those of a certain age were raised on cup successes, the league title, Rotterdam, 6 major honours in 20-odd years. Hard to think then of the barren years that would follow. 3 success-starved decades, relegation, a finish in the bottom half of the championship, before slowly the ashes cleared for the Phoenix to rise. It was only the arrival of Unai Emery that really swept them away. The Europa League specialist, drafted in to sort out a team that, when they kicked off his first game in charge, were only out of the relegation zone on alphabetical order. They won that day, and on well over half of his days since, a rise that took them from the bottom 4 to a Conference League semi-final, then a Champions League quarter-final after 40 years out of the competition, and now to Istanbul. And how fitting that the game is played here at this ground, because this is the site of Villa's first ever away win in European football, which came in this competition nearly 50 years ago. The new Besiktas Stadium, where we are tonight, replaced the club's old ground, the Inonu Stadium, which hosted a UEFA Cup tie between Fenerbahce and Villa. Villa won that with goals from John Dean and Brian Little on their way to a quarter-final defeat to Barcelona. They wouldn't be back in Europe until the club's most glorious hour 4 seasons later. But will their second most glorious follow on tonight? This is how the two teams line up. Martinez in goal for Villa. Cash, Konsa, Pau Torres and Dina. Lindelof and Tielemans. McGinn and Buendia wide. Rodgers coming up the flank in support of Ollie Watkins. The bench, Mings, Elliott, Andres Garcia and Abraham. Sancho, Douglas Luiz, Maatsen, Onana, Makada and Bailey. Keepers right and Bizot. For Freiburg, a Tuvalu in goal. Kubler, Ginter, Leonhardt and True. Eggstein and Höfler. Besteman, Zambi and Grifo. And Matanovic. Freiburg in all red. Villa as if it's an omen again, in the same pristine white kit with light blue trim that they wore in the 1982 European Cup final. Referee tonight, Francois Letechier. Villa will kick from left to right in this first half, attacking the Bosphorus end of the ground, defending the end that houses the majority of the Villa support. It's a night that's been years in the making, that's all the better for the wait. More than 40 years after their last European glory, can Aston Villa make Istanbul as special as Rotterdam? Freiburg stand in their way in the 2026 Europa League final, and we are underway. Here's Pau Torres, winner in this competition before, in the Villarreal team that beat Manchester United back in 2021. He's played the ball through towards Yuri Tielemans, has been dispossessed. Manzambi, wearing 44, playing at 10, the youngster in this Freiburg side. He's one possession back, and he will find the fullback Kubler. Ball in from Bester, the bearded winger, flicked on towards goal by Matanovic. And he's headed it wide, but a sight of goal inside the opening 40 seconds for Freiburg. The final's underway, and alongside me, the former Villa captain and perennial Villa legend, Andy Townsend.
Jim, what a pleasure to be here. What an atmosphere. Very positive start to the game from Freiburg there, applying a bit of pressure, a little press, whipping the ball into the box, and Matanovic getting his head on it. But I think what's really important for Villa tonight, they do come into this tie as favourites. They do come into this tie as, I think, a team that really are expected to make the run-in. So do it. Might take the first 5 minutes to kind of get to grips with your opposite number and come to terms with where you are and what's happening. But then on the front foot, get Rodgers and Watkins involved in the game as quick as they can.
This game brought to you in association with TNT Sports, the home of European football. The ball in the back with the two Freiburg centre-halves. Ginter to Leonhardt. Back out for Ginter again. He's played more European games for Freiburg than anybody else in their history. It's ball forward, seized upon by Manzambi. Little 1-2 between him and Matanovic. Excellent challenge comes in from Tielemans to win it back. And a straight ball through the middle is fielded by Watkins. To his right is Morgan Rogers. Right footed, very nearly in. Well saved by the diving Tuvalu. Great strike from Morgan Rogers on his right foot, arrowing towards the bottom left-hand corner. And the young goalkeeper equal to it.
Yeah, Villa turning the ball over, only about 7 or 8 yards actually outside their own box. Couple of very swift passes. Morgan Rogers picking it up on the half turn, as he did an awful lot against Liverpool in that second half on Friday night. And he really tested the goalkeeper there. It was a stinging shot, and the goalie did well to save it.
And now, no offside flag against Watkins as they go route one right through the middle, and he just scuffs it. Flag then does come up, and I'm sure rightly.
Yeah.
I think he nicked a couple of yards, but they didn't let play develop there.
Well, they did. It looked like Ollie Watkins was 5 or 6 yards offside. Ball straight up the middle. Everybody misses it. And he managed to get his body in between him and Ginter, I think it was. Rolled him, but scuffed the shot a little bit. But great start to the game.
Philip Troy playing at left back, finding Leonhardt. As Reconstance there to head the ball away to the halfway line for Aston Villa. Troy mops up, back from him to Leonhardt, who will go back to his goalkeeper again. They've been in pretty indifferent form, Freiburg, coming into this. They've lost 4 of the last 7. Only won 8 of the last 18 games that they played in League and Cup. As their league form's gone off, they have prioritised this European competition. This is the first European final in which they've ever played. In fact, it's only the second final in which the club has ever played at all. The last one being the Pokal, the German Cup, back in 2022. They lost it on penalties to RB Leipzig. So tonight they're going for the first piece of major silverware in the club's history. Got a throw which will be taken by Lucas Kubler. Recalled to the side at right back tonight. In towards Manzambi, who's had a good start playing at 10. Bester goes down. Villa will try and bring it away. One back by Eggstein, but the flag is up for the official on the far side. And Francois Letessier, the French referee, is given a free kick Villa's way. About 15 yards outside their own penalty area. 0-0. 4.5 minutes gone here on TalkSport in the Europa League final in Istanbul. Yeah,
and you can tell Manzambi actually, number 44, playing as a 10 really, alongside Matanovic, or just behind him. He has had a lively start. He looks sharp, and every time he gets the ball he wants to run forward, run at people. So Villa, Yuri Tielemans, Victor Lindelof, be aware of him.
McGinn trying to turn his man. He did a really good job to get away from Troy, who is booked for bringing him down. So the young Freiburg left back already on a yellow card with 85 minutes to go.
Yeah, that's an early card to get, that is, for the young left back, and up against someone who's a wily customer in John McGinn. So he's got to be very careful, Troy, now when he wants to dive into a challenge, because John's really good at getting his body in, protecting the ball and inviting a challenge.
So Troy in the book, and Villa take a free kick that they've worked out from the back. Pau Torres back here for Tielemans, chipped over the top again, this time for the run down the left hand side from Emi Buendia. Digne is in there, he might get to it, pulled it back in, and it's an acrobatic clearance from inside the penalty area before the whistle goes. Leonhardt got the ball away, Watkins was waiting for it to drop, the whistle's gone, and it's a Freiburg ball. 6 gone, good start from Aston Villa with that early side of goal from Morgan Rogers. Tuvalu able to beat that one away, and they've got a free kick now inside their own box. Play that towards Leonhardt. There's no pressure coming in on him. Morgan Rogers in these early stages, as he was on Friday against Liverpool live on TalkSport, very much up alongside Ollie Watkins in a 4-4-2 formation for Villa. And it comes for Grifo, the German-born Italian international. Long ball forward from him. Matanovic backing into Konsa has given the free kick away. And the Croatian international leading the line for Freiburg. He's got 15 goals this season. Just saying that he got caught on the Achilles as the pair were waiting for the ball to drop, that the free kick should have gone the other way, but it's a Villa ball.
No, it's the right decision. Matanovic wasn't even looking at the ball. He was looking at Ezri Konsa as the ball was in flight, delivered about 40 yards up to him. And all he wanted to do was bump into Ezri Konsa. And the Villa man quite rightly hits the floor, gets the free kick, pressure relieved. But it's been a bright start, a good start. I think both teams have already shown that when they get the ball in their feet, 30, 40 yards from the opposition's goal, they can make something happen.
You're listening to Villa Freiburg in the Europa League, live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Ball played for, another shove from Watkins. That's a good battle between Watkins and Ginter. And Ollie Watkins, from the early instalments, will feel that it's one that he can win. Villa looking for that long, early ball forward. There was just a little pull of the shirt from Watkins. Well, the referees might have let him get away with that. Yeah,
I like that from Emi Martinez. I like the fact that he's looking to mix it up a little bit, roll it out to the centre halves, but also don't be afraid to go long.
Tielemans, Buendia, Rogers, down to McGinn, who's got Cash making a run outside him on the Villa right. Back is there for Victor Lindelof. Finalist in this competition 5 years ago, hoping to be on the winning side this evening. And it goes towards Luca Digne. Back for Pau Torres, who has won it before. He'll just bring the ball inside the centre circle. Plays the pass down towards Lindelof. Watkins making a darting run. And Rogers trying to draw defenders out of position with a dynamic run from left to right across the edge of the penalty area. Villa working back to go forward. Buendia comes to meet it. A good exchange of passes between him and Digne. And then the ball in towards Morgan. Rogers was a poor one, and the back pass was even worse, but Atubal, who saw it coming, sprints outside his penalty area and was just able to clear to bail out Leonhardt, who's had a nervy start. Yes. That was really under-hit.
Yeah, poor back pass that. Players always think they can go back to the goalkeeper. That was a bad decision.
Going to take a throw. It's hooked away. Buendia then, in his bright yellow boots, able to bring the ball down over on the far touchline of Villa left. Men in white coming forward again, and Atubal scampering across his line. Very grateful to see that one from Rogers drift past the top right-hand corner. Yeah, Villa the better side, Andy, through 9.
Certainly are. Morgan Rogers in that kind of position where he floats just slightly towards the left side, curling it into that far corner, like we saw him do against Liverpool, like we saw him do against Manchester United. He's done that a lot lately in that position, and he's very dangerous when he gets the ball.
Well, the perceived wisdom of how Freiburg would play is that they would try and condense things into the middle. They would defend pretty narrow. They'd funnel Aston Villa out wide. But that's the game plan. It hasn't been effective for them so far, because Manzambi gives it away, because Villa are able to get it forward very directly and quickly through the middle and make good headway. They've won another free kick here as Tielemans is brought down.
Yeah, the game's quite open from a Freiburg point of view. I think certainly in behind their central midfield players, Morgan Rogers can float and just be clever and cute. I can see him getting a lot of ball on the half turn and giving them an awful lot of problems.
TalkSport live at the Beşiktaş Stadium in Istanbul. 0-0, 10 gone between Villa and Freiburg. Ball is played forward. Watkins making his way to the edge of the penalty area. Now it's swept in deep towards the far post, but over Pau Torres' head. Freiburg player has gone down injured. Just given a little shove as the ball came through, and it's going to be a goal kick rather than a free kick that'll be taken by Atubal away to our right-hand side. Don't forget, the final day of the Premier League season coming your way on Sunday. Join us for the fastest around the ground service. Spurs and West Ham both fighting to avoid the drop. It's going to go right to the wire. We've got every goal, every twist, every moment of drama as it happens with Adrian Durham. Who's going to stay up, who's going to go down? We'll find out together live on TalkSport this Sunday from 2 p.m. Wonderful noise about the place, has been for hours, and both sets of supporters have played their part in that. So Freiburg supporters you can hear away to our right hand side predominantly at the moment, but Villa have been playing the better football. Matanovic flicking on a long ball, looking for Mazambi. Then Griffo is in there. Mazambi, the 20-year-old Swiss international, brings it down. Villa win it back. Pau Torres getting it back for Martinez, showing any ill effects of the finger injury that we suspect he was suffering with in the warm-up. No suspicion that he wasn't going to come out and start this game. He's cleared here into the feet of Buendia. He's done really well to bring that down under pressure, to sweep it back towards Lindelof. Villa looking long, great ball out towards Watkins. Flag stays down for now. Rogers making a darting run in towards the penalty spot, but Kubler can clear. It was a poor cross that was hitting behind the cavalry that was arriving.
Yeah, good chance actually. Good run from Ollie Watkins, drifted out into the wide left position. McGinn found him. He was looking for Morgan Rogers in the box, a weak cross really with his left foot, and it's easily defended.
Villa with this brilliant record in Europe so far this season. 12 wins in this competition. No other side in the Europa League this season has won more than 9. Freiburg have also won 9, but they've been beaten 3 times. And there have only been 2 games Villa haven't won so far. They're also the top scorers. Only team that have averaged 2 goals a game that have got into the latter stages. Brilliant against Nottingham Forest, when I must admit I thought that might have their work cut out to be able to qualify after they just had an indifferent performance up on Trent's side in the first leg, but they turned it around superbly. Have it again here with Watkins, looking for Rogers, but cut out by Kubler. And Leonhardt will get it away. Just drifts over the head of Yuri Tielemans, who jumped high, got the top of his head to it to flick it back to a teammate, and then there's a handball, which has given Aston Villa a free kick in Freiburg territory.
Yeah, most of the game actually. Where are we now, Jim? The last sort of 8 minutes, most of it has been played in Freiburg's half of the field. Villa kind of threatening to stitch 2 or 3 clever passes together, just in and around the Freiburg midfield. I think if they do that, I honestly feel there's going to be chances for them to work and Tuvalu very soon.
No causes for concern as yet for Aston Villa. That one header wide from Matanovic inside the opening 40 seconds. Since then, Emi Martinez has had nothing to do other than field balls played back to him. Mazambi in there now, and they have got a free kick in a wide position, and part of the team talk from Unai Emery tonight inevitably would have been don't give free kicks away, because Freiburg are a team that can exploit this kind of situation. And having seen highlights of some of their recent games from a situation like this, what they often do is get one of the fullbacks here to push one of the defenders to play everybody onside.
Push them back into the box.
Keep your eye on 27, Kubler, who's got Matty Cash with him. What usually happens is there'll be a shove from him. That will play people back onside. It is coming. It was Rogers actually that they shoved into a position deep inside his penalty area. That plays everybody onside when the ball is in. Villa got it away, and then Buendia has fouled his man, and he is cautioned. So it's a free kick that'll be taken in a better position still now for Freiburg. Well, the officials have got to keep an eye on it. I mean, it's something that they do in every game they play.
Well, look, there's so much that goes on nowadays with wide free kicks, with corners, etc. You're absolutely right, Jim. It was a good spot. I think Emi Buendia is so unlucky to get a yellow card. I mean, look, the ball's coming out to him towards his chest, almost up around his throat. He's got to get his arms up to try and control the thing. And he puts his arm across the Freiburg player, and immediately the referee comes over and gives him a yellow card for that. I think that's harsh.
Francois Letessier has set his stall out. I mean, Troy could easily have been excused. His foul on McGinn in the early stages, and Buendia certainly unlucky not to have been there.
This free kick is in a slightly better situation for them than the previous one. The previous one was almost right out on the far side, on the touchline. This one is 15 yards further in and about 35-40 yards out, but it's going to be whipped in. Villa holding the edge of the box.
So the centre halves are forward, including Ginter, who's at the wrong side of Lindelof at the moment. Villa have got to make sure that they stand firm. In comes the delivery towards Ginter. Left-footed effort from distance, dragged wide by Höfler. decent attempt as it fell to him 22 yards out. Freiburg winning the second ball on the edge of the penalty area, which is their MO from set pieces. But Villa stood firm.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that's a good... The actual ball that was whipped in was useful. And they had red shirts really piling in after it. Villa managed to get it away to the edge of the box before Höfler, it was, who took the shot, scuffed it and dragged it a bit. Actually should have at least hit the target from there. Thankfully, from a Villa point of view, it was wide.
Well, had he hit the target, it might well have beaten Martinez, who could only have seen it late. It would have been a fairy tale ending to his career, potentially. It is the last game of his career, the 36-year-old. The vast majority of the 500 have come in Freiburg colours. He's not really featured too much. He's been injured for a lot of the season. Very nearly wrote an epic farewell note there. Villa with a free kick of their own, deep inside their own half. Get it for Watkins and Rodgers are able to combine. Villa in all white tonight. They're kicking from left to right in this first half. They'll be attacking the end of the ground that houses the vociferous Villa support in the second period. Konsa under a little bit of pressure. Matanovic leading the press.
Taking too long there, Esri Konsa. Dwelling on the ball a little bit. Matanovic onto him very quickly.
Pau Torres, Buendia, back towards Lindelof, who's excelling in this new, more advanced role. Remember, a fortnight ago, he hadn't started in central midfield for 10 years. Fourth game in a row. Ball played forward again by Villa, but in behind Rodgers, who made a run away from it. Expecting that Buendia was going to come to meet that. Freiburg get it back to their goalkeeper. Tuvalu's just chipped it straight out of play for a throw that'll be taken on the Aston Villa right-hand side. 18 gone. Villa the better team, but the best individual chance of the night so far falling to Höfler, dragging it just wide of Emi Martinez's post a couple of minutes ago. It's 0-0.
Yeah. I mean, Morgan Rodgers had that shot in the opening sort of 5 or 6 minutes, which and Tuvalu had to really do very well to handle, but it's competitive, that's for sure. It was always going to be.
Grifo's ball back. Eggestein has lost it. Watkins, lovely turn from him, wearing that white bandage above his left eye again tonight, Ollie Watkins. Back he goes for Esri Konsa. Pau Torres fires one in. It was a good low trajectory ball that almost picked up Morgan Rodgers. Freiburg struggling to deal with it. Cash wrapping his leg around Grifo, and the pair of them almost ended up waltzing towards the fans on this near side and diving into the crowd as they lost their balance. No harm done, there's no malice from either player. And there's a conciliatory handshake as they walk away. It's a goal kick that Freiburg will take away to our right-hand side. You're listening to Villa Freiburg in the Europa League. It's live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. 0-0.
Yeah, Matty Cash going over the boards there along with Grifo. That's that sort of stadium. It's a real sort of tight bowl, and there's not that much room around the outside of the actual playing surface. Only maybe 4 or 5 yards all the way round.
Well, that's not dissimilar to Freiburg's own on the very southwestern corner of Germany in the Black Forest. Had possession here with Eggestein. Down towards Grifo. Cash comes to meet it very strongly, and the referee is going to book him. And that seems harsh as well. So that's 2 Villa players in the book, and you could argue that neither of them are merited.
Well, I'll wait to have another look at that, but I thought the ball actually went... When Matty, I'm just watching a run of it now. He wins the ball because his foot is slightly high and he twists on the side a little bit. The momentum, the follow-through catches Grifo, but there's absolutely nothing he can do about that. He wins the ball, and it's one of those challenges nowadays that everyone goes crazy about. As a player, you can't do anything about it. He's won the ball, and his foot is going to catch the opposing player, and that's what happens.
Well, Grifo is kicked up underneath once the ball has passed him, and he's kicked up into the studs of Cash's boot.
Tell you what, it's a slight worry for me already. We've seen, I think, out of the 3 yellow cards we've had so far, 2 of them I think have been very soft, Jim. You know, look, and listen, of course referee's job is to protect players as much as anything else, but I don't think Matty Cash deserved the yellow card for that challenge. I really don't. I think the ball was there to be won. Grifo's first touch wasn't good. The ball got away from him. Cash intercepted. and then a little bit of follow through. He catches him. He's still down. Hopefully he'll get back up.
And it already feels like a game without a single hint of malice so far tonight that might not end 11 against 11.
Well, look, you know, you can imagine. We're already, we're 20, coming up to 22 minutes in. We've had 3 yellows already.
So Griffo's back on his feet. It's another free kick. Bester is going to take it. The right winger is amongst the scorers at the weekend. And again, we will keep our eyes on the pushing and shoving from the men in red, just trying to ease Villa defenders back inside the penalty area. They do it so well. So Griffo has received his treatment. Doesn't have to leave the field of play because it was a bookable offence. And he will just trot away now to leave this free kick to Bester, the left-footed right winger. Sends this one deep inside the penalty area, too deep. Dina gets a shout to leave it. Actually control it over on the far touchline, the Aston Villa left, and then pump it forward. Buendia going up for it, has been able to get it away from Kubla. Freiburg win it back and play it deep into Villa territory again. Eggestein's ball forward, not the best. And picking out his opposite number 8, Yuri Tielemans. Villa getting it back with Dina for Pau Torres. Down towards Cash on the Aston Villa right. And forward they come again. John McGinn. I've seen an awful lot of it so far. The talismanic captain. And he's pulled it back here towards Victor Lindelof. Watkins and Rodgers both waiting. Watkins, the more pedestrian of the two, just isolating himself up against Ginter. Rodgers' movement trying to draw Leonhardt out of position. Villa recycle it from the right out to the left. And then work it back again. Pau Torres back for Emi Martinez, who has played in 4 major finals in his career, including, of course, the biggest of the lot, the World Cup final. He has won all of them. Ball forward. Watkins going up for this. Backing into Leonhardt. Freiburg can get it away. And Grifo will turn it back for his centre-half Leonhardt again in his white boots. Slows things down. Rodgers, no thought of engaging or trying to press from here. And so it's a relatively comfortable ball played down towards the left-back Troy, albeit that he's now coming to a more central area. 24 minutes in here on TalkSports, 0-0. Troy's continuing the run forward. Grifo trying to scoop it over the top. Run down on the left-hand side by Manzambi. Grifo into space in the middle of midfield. Influential Eggestein has it now and plays it to his right. Ginter to Kubla.
They've had a good spell, Freiburg, I think, for 10 minutes. Those free kicks kind of stimulate them a little bit, just give them a little bit more belief, and they've had a nice chunk of the ball, and Villa have been on the back foot a little bit more now.
Bester goes back inside the centre circle. Now they look for the long ball over the top, which he's headed down. Matanovic trying to control it. Konsa gets it away from him with a clever flick, and then the offside flag comes up. A bit 3 or 4 seconds after the initial ball was played, the officials at least being very consistent in letting the play develop before raising an offside flag.
Yeah, he is offside actually on the far side there. I think it was Grifo who was just a yard offside. One thing with Mantanovic, the centre forward for Freiburg, big lad, big tall boy, and he likes the ball. You can tell up to him in the air. He's already won his fair share of flick-ons up against Ezri Konsa. And because of that, they've got Manzambi and others that will try and run onto those and gamble with those runs. So, again, Villa, when Freiburg do go long, got to make sure they stay with those runners.
Lindelof gets it forward here for John McGinn. It is 0-0. Not too many decent chances have been created so far. Only the one attempt on target, which was from Morgan Rodgers and comfortably saved. Villa again with a long ball pinged forward over the top for the run of Watkins. He sensed he was offside.
I tell you what, they weren't marking it. I mean, Emi Martinez has now done that, 4 times, Jim?
Yeah.
When he's had the ball at his feet, the goalkeeper, he's pinged it 70 yards straight up the middle of the pitch to Ollie Watkins every time. Watkins has backed in and tried to hang on to it, but that time there, it was just went over his head. Nobody marking him at all.
And that was the combination that provided a goal at Burnley recently with the Martinez ball forward for Ollie Watkins, one of the rare Premier League assists from a goalkeeper this season. Freiburg have it. Manzambi chipped a little bit too straight for Matanovic's run, and out of play for a goal kick that'll be taken by Martinez away to our left. We played nearly half an hour. It is still 0-0 here on TalkSport. So much time to react on TalkSport this evening at the conclusion of the game with the Sports Bar, of course. Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy taking your calls tonight, and then tomorrow back on breakfast, Ali McCoist and Gabby taking your calls. I would imagine that if this goes successfully, Gabby might not have slept, but we'll see. Tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock your time, 8 o'clock here, those extra 2 hours could be of paramount importance for Gabby tomorrow morning. But it will be on the Sports Bar come hell or high water. Here's Lindelof. He's gone back for Ezri Konsa. 27 minutes gone. Back from him to Cash. Down to the Villa right-hand side again for John McGinn. 0-0 the score. The single best chance so far falling Freiburg's way. Dragged wide by Herfler. Cash. A good attempt by Watkins, just trying to spin in behind Leonhardt. Deliberately let the ball run when had he just backed in and brought it down, it might have been a better bet. And it's very easy to say with the benefit of hindsight from 70 yards away. Yeah,
the ball bounced actually about 10 yards before Ollie Watkins, and which didn't do him any favours. Strikers would much prefer the ball is wrapped into them with a bit of pace on it. That one was clipped into him, and it gave Leonhardt a chance to really get close to Watkins, and he dealt with it.
It's been such good goal scoring form. Ollie Watkins, 10 in his last 11 games. He's scored in 5 goals in his 6 knockout ties in this competition this season. Will that form be enough for him to get into the World Cup squad? We'll find out. It's going to be named Friday morning, and you'll hear that announcement on TalkSport.
Just looking at the way they're lining up, there is nobody front screening Ollie Watkins, which is why Emi Martinez has gone long a couple of times, and I think there'll be an opportunity for Watkins to have more ball into his feet. None of those midfield players are sort of front screening him. Usually part of your job as a midfield player is to deny the ball into the opposing striker's feet. Look at Ollie Watkins now, standing there with no midfield player anywhere near him. Can Villa find him a little bit more?
You would have imagined that it's Eggestein who's been detailed to do that. Cash getting it forward. Watkins back for Cash. He's inside the penalty area, trying to improvise with a scoop ball in with the outside of the right foot. It's half cleared. Digne then heading it back on, and Kubler trying to shepherd the ball out of play, and Kubler can. It's out of play for a goal kick that'll be taken by the Freiburg keeper. That's a volley away to our right-hand side. We played half an hour. It's 0-0.
No light in the game. It's a tight game. Certainly, I think opening 10 and 15 minutes, I thought Villa actually started quite brightly. Got Rodgers involved, Watkins, they were trying to find him. And to their credit, Freiburg, they had those free kicks, which kind of got them going a little bit. They've had that a little 10-minute spell as well, but a lot at stake tonight, as you would expect. The game at the moment is very tight.
This is the first of the 3 showpiece European finals. We've got them all on TalkSport. Conference League and the Champions League coming your way over the next couple of weeks, with Palace and Arsenal both in action, and we've got all of the playoff finals as well, which may or may not be Hull against Middlesbrough. Who knows? It is at the moment a Saturday afternoon, 3:30 kickoff between Hull and Middlesbrough, and that game is live on TalkSport, with the League One and League Two playoff finals to follow over the bank holiday weekend. Stockport Bolton on Sunday. Intriguing local derby. That's an earlier kick-off, incidentally. That's a 1 o'clock start for that game. Ross County against Salford, the Monday game in League Two. Leonhardt wearing 3, playing centre half. to the vastly experienced Ginter to his right-hand side. Ginter who won 50 Germany caps behind him. Receiving a return ball from the right-back Kubler. Back to Eggestein again. Now to Leonhard. Eggestein drops off. Tanovic does likewise. The big striker has played forward, and Kubler had made a run. I just thought the best was going to be another 10 yards further down the line, and he's just passed it straight out of play in front of the Villa fans for a throw that will be taken in the left-back position. 0-0 here on Talk Sport with 13 minutes to go in this first half, Andy.
Yep, just looking at Unai Emery down below us, hands in his pockets. I think he'd like to see perhaps just a little more control of the ball, but look, Manzambi is dropping off that front line and adding to that Freiburg midfield, and they've had a nice amount of the ball, in fairness to them.
Yeah, possession marginally in Villa's favour, not an awful lot in it at the moment, mid-50s to mid-40s. Again, that's often the Freiburg way. That has developed since the change of coach. Julian Schuster is the man in charge of them these days. He's got it his side now, bringing it forward with Troy. McGinn had gone down, the referee said play on. Kubler tried to send a ball through. Well cut out. Rodgers diverts it back to safety with Lugadinha behind him, and now Pau Torres can bring it out from the back for the Villa. Finding Yuri Tielemans, scored the winning goal in the FA Cup final a few years back. Manzambi's done really well to dispossess it. Gets it back from Matanovic. Let's fly from distance. Anthony Martinez diving away to his right, makes a very comfortable save. 0-0.
You know, I've been impressed with Manzambi. I like him. He's been sharp right from the get-go there. Yuri Tielemans, it was who had possession of the ball. He never gave it up. He chased him back. He hooked, got the hook tackle on him, pinched the ball back for his team, then hit one from about 25 yards, which bounced just in front of Emi Martinez. But the big goalkeeper gathered it cleanly.
Yeah, he's really impressive, Manzambi. As I mentioned earlier, he's only 20. Interesting to see how he does in the World Cup. Here's Watkins cutting it onto his right foot, then his left. Still he goes. Couldn't pirouette past the last defender. And then as McGinn comes in there, it's deflected away off him and goes out of play for a goal kick. And there's an immediate post-mortem between McGinn and Watkins, with McGinn saying, you should have laid that back to me when you had the chance.
Do you know, there was 2 or 3 challenges, Jim, on Watkins there, right on the edge of the box, if not in the box. And I thought for a moment he might have gone down. He didn't. There's a chance, you know.
Tulu, the goalkeeper, is pressed by the Villa front line, plays it out to the left. Leonhard, tall blonde-haired defender, getting it forward, controlled by Konsa, midway inside his own half for Villa. He's shanked it out of play, off balance, a throw taken quickly, and Manzambi's then caught by Lindelof. And I think that's the first foul we've seen tonight that hasn't resulted in a yellow card. Manzambi, the player that is down. He's not a prolific player by any stretch of the imagination, but you can imagine him doing really well in the Premier League, because he's a tall guy, and you can imagine he's still only going to fill out further.
Yeah, again, as I mentioned, I've been impressed with his performance. I mean, Victor Lindelof didn't really catch him that badly there. Tripped more than anything else. But Manzambi is getting some treatment, and they will certainly need him back up on his feet, because I think he's been as lively as anybody in a red shirt.
You're listening to Villa Freiburg in the Europa League. It's live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. So Manzambi just being held back to his feet. He's going to have to come off the field. Just a few instructions being given by the coach Julian Schuster, who replaced his mentor Christian Streich back in 2024. He'll be the first German to lift this trophy since Franz Beckenbauer some 30 years ago. Troy, the left back, who'd been in lengthy dialogue with his coach, has made his way back into the heart of the midfield. And Manzambi is having to take the obligatory 30 seconds off, having received treatment. Villa holding a higher line this time, 6 yards outside the penalty area. Grifo sending this in. It's a deep one out towards the far post. Ginter trying to head it back. Buendia wins the seconds, helped on. Rodgers will chase after. It should be easily cleared by Troy. It is, but he had to nervously hook it over his own shoulder. Then Buendia's done well. Watkins making a run through the middle. Rodgers has got time to pick out options. Gone to his left-hand side. Buendia, McGinn lets fly. Blocked. Rodgers blocked. And it'll go down towards the dead ball line. Didn't have the legs to go out of play for a corner, so Digne played it and sweeps across straight behind the goal. And out of play for a goal kick. Freiburg 0, Villa 0.
Yeah, when Freiburg have got a set play or a free kick, they send the big centre-halves up. And at the moment, they don't always cover for those guys particularly well when they lose possession. And Villa there exploited that. Morgan Rodgers picked the ball up about 10-15 yards in the Freiburg half. Turned, and no centre-half in sight. Just turned and ran. Fed Emi Buendia. And very nearly Villa there created a good situation.
Leonhardt. Another long ball sent forward. Konsa dealing with Matanovic. He's not a particularly prolific striker. He's scored 3 goals in the last 2 league games. That's his 50th game for the club tonight, and his goal tally is 15. So he's a 1-in-3 man. More fantastic choreographed support from the Germans away to our right-hand side as Rodgers plays the ball forward here, and John McGinn can't make any headway, bouncing up and down, but in unison, and it gives you an effect, if you look at it for too long, of making you feel quite seasick. The ball played inside the penalty area, and it's knocked away by Ginter. Matanovic, good control from him, spreads it wide. Bester cleverly flicks out a right foot, lays it back through the midfield for Kubla. Back to Ginter at the heart of the back line again. Freiburg have made their way forward. All quiet again away to our right hand side in the Freiburg end. Manzambi in the corner of the box, running at Victor Lindelof, who's followed him a long way here. Manzambi gets to the byline, fires across straight through the 6. Nobody could get there to attack. It was brilliant play by the young Swiss.
Great run again. He's a player, this boy. I think there, once he got Victor Lindelof backing into the 18-yard box, Lindelof didn't really want to know. I don't blame him, because he's very tricky, he's very quick and direct. And actually the cross from Manzambi was fired across the 6-yard box, and he evaded everybody and went out for a throw-in on the far side.
Well, Cash, Konsa and Pau Torres all did well to get out of the way of it. They had to make sure that they didn't just get a little nick on that, because it was delivered so quickly that it might have pushed it past Martinez. It didn't. Villa will bring it forward and now have a free kick on halfway as another poor challenge comes in. This one on Buendia. It's been quite stop-start the last 10-15 minutes or so.
Yes, it has. Yep. I think the referee quite wisely as well, the last few challenges, Jim, he's just letting players get back up on their feet and asking them to get on with it. And that's absolutely the right call after making 3 in that opening 20 minutes. You know, you can leave yourself nowhere to go if you're not careful, so good to see that, yep, there's a few bumps and bruises, but just let them get on with it.
Buendia and Cash, who were just joining us, the Villa players in the book. It's 0-0 as Yuri Tielemans brings it forward here in Istanbul, finding Morgan Rodgers to his left for Emi Buendia. Buendia for Luca Digne, and Villa have the first corner of the night.
Good play. Again, Morgan Rodgers in the pocket, picking it up, driving at people, and all of a sudden the white shirts around him come alive, and you feel something might happen. Buendia fired it out wide on the left to Luca Digne, and his cross was blocked out for a corner on that far side.
So Digne to take the corner. 41 minutes gone here on TalkSport in the Europa League final. Digne working it short. Right-footed ball flicked across the edge of the penalty area. Tielemans! What a goal! Yuri Tielemans firing it in from the edge of the penalty area. It's yet another special out of the Austin McPhee playbook. A brilliant set piece. Yuri Tielemans, the man that scored the winning goal in the FA Cup final 5 years ago has given Villa the lead in the Europa League final. A goal of breathtaking quality, a goal potentially of magnificent importance. It's Villa 1, Freiburg 0, Yuri Tielemans.
What a strike. What a strike from Tielemans that is. Clever corner, clever set play, clearly one that they've worked on. Lucadinha drops it short instead of knocking the corner in long. And then as he does that, Yuri Tielemans goes from one side of the 18-yard box and drifts to the far side. The ball is then knocked up in the air and he meets it on the volley and rifles that into the back of the Freiburg net. That's a big goal. Huge goal on the night, that is, for Villa.
Villa, who've got such a good record when they score first. And they lead here in Istanbul. And immediately, those on the Villa bench and Emi Martinez embracing Austin McPhee, the set-piece coach. He's done it again. Some repertoire that he's been able to build up. That one falling for the right man at the right place at the right time. Yuri Tielemans, first Villa player to score a goal in a European final for the club since Peter With. They didn't concede that night in Rotterdam, and if they don't concede now, tonight in Istanbul, they will have won another European trophy.
Yeah, it's a great time to score a goal as well. The game was tight. There's been nothing in it really so far. Both teams had little moments, little flurries, but the first real bit of quality has come for Villa by Yuri Tielemans. That's not a surprise, but it's a great goal. I mean, it really is a brilliant hit. Because when it's on the volley, you know, you're never absolutely sure how you're going to hit him. But he was there. He met it perfectly, hit it hard and low, and goalkeeper had absolutely no chance. Just too much pace on it.
It's always felt like a night where the first goal might be of paramount importance. And you look back at the successes that Unai Emery has had in this competition, the 4 wins that the side have had. They've had to come from behind on a couple. They've had to win a couple of penalty shootouts, but they lead in this one with Yuri Tielemans' goal on 41 minutes. Only his second goal of the season.
Is that what it is, Jim? Really? Wow. Surprised at that. I mean, I know he was out for a long time with an injury, but such a great striker of the ball, and as you quite rightly point out, does love it in a big game.
Well, that goal for Tielemans only now takes him into double figures in Villa colours in more than 130 matches for the club. Here's the lively Manzambi as Freiburg look for an equalising goal. Ball hit in deep, and it's headed into the retreating Cash. And out of play for a corner with 30 seconds of the first half to go. Villa score from their first corner of the night. Freiburg in the Bundesliga, the set-piece specialists, what will they be able to muster from here as they look for an equalising goal in first half stoppage time?
This is interesting. Villa leaving 4 players up from a defensive corner, and that's to drag the red shirts back. Obviously a clever way of trying to combat how clever they are from corners and set plays.
Well, it is worked short across the edge of the penalty area for Best there. He's played it in. Martinez has to come out and claim it, and he has. And now he'll bowl it out. And now there could be a numerical advantage for Villa on the counter-attack as they push forward with Tielemans, the goal scorer. Out to Buendia, left-hand side of the box. Buendia, fought away, plays it in, and his body just wide of the near post, deflected out for another corner.
Very interesting passage of play there, because Villa pushed 4 people up from a defensive corner right on half-time. That's brave. That is brave, because that can work against you. And actually, they had the chance there. Bester it was, who had the chance to clip something into the box straight into the hands of Emi Martinez, who released Yuri Tielemans, and now Villa have a chance right on half-time. Can they provide someone with a decent delivery here?
So what's in chapter 2 of the McPhee playbook? Let's find out. Got McGinn, unmarked, edge of the D. In comes this corner towards the near post, travelled a long way. The volley towards goal, they didn't really get hold of it. Ezri Konsa off balance. It was smuggled away by Ginter, and out for another corner on the Villa right.
Yeah, it was a whip ball in actually off the left-hand side. Everybody missed it, bounced across the 6-yard box. Ezri Konsa closely guarded, got his left foot to it, and in the end the red shirts scramble it away for another corner, this time off Villa's right.
We're halfway through, 3 additional minutes at the end of this first half. 1-0 to Villa. In comes this latest corner, in swinger, knocked away. Cash controls it, runs round it, plays it out to Tielemans. Tielemans for McGinn. McGinn, good ball fired in, and corner number 4 quickly follows. That's 4 in a 5-minute spell at the end of the half.
Yeah. The last delivery that John McGinn whipped in with his left foot, in swinger of course off the Villa right, was a decent one, but it was headed away by a red shirt.
So McGinn to take this latest one. Near post area has been vacated. Now they make runs in there looking for a flick, which is steer the ball towards the edge of the box. Digne keeping it alive. Back out towards Rodgers. Near the edge of the penalty area. It's just been forced away. Good strength. Maintains possession. Down towards Tielemans. Seconds remaining in the first half. McGinn. Cross deep. Headed back across the face of goal. Was going wide. Then is cleared by Bester. Down towards halfway.
Great finish to the half from Villa. Really strong.
One last opportunity potentially. Tielemans, McGinn, Buendia! Oh, Starling grading their name on the trophy now. Emi Buendia curling one into the top left-hand corner. This is going to be Villa's night. A night that has been decades in the waiting. What an end to the first half. Tielemans with a rasper. Buendia's finish is even better. Aston Villa leading by 2 goals to 0. Oh. And they've got one hand on the Europa League trophy already. Start ironing the claret and blue ribbons. This is going home to Birmingham.
What a strike, Emi Buendia. What a hit this is. Again, I mentioned about how strong they finished the half. I think the whistle has just gone. But what a goal. What a time to get that second one as well. Stunning end to the half from Villa.
Unai Emery, Europa League magician. And it looks as though he's going to be doing it again. Still 45 minutes to go. But his side have conjured up 2 monumental moments. Brilliant finish by Tielemans, and then Buendia with one of the goals of his life, marking his 150th Villa appearance with a sensational strike. And at half-time in Istanbul, it is Aston Villa 2, Freiburg 0. And just before the second half begins, a quick word about the goal scorer, Emi Buendia, the scorer of the second goal. He had that horrendous ACL problem.
Yes.
Beginning of the 23-24 season. Didn't play at all that season. Didn't start a meaningful game for Villa last season. Farmed out on loan to Leverkusen. Determined to stay, fight for his place. And look at him now, more than 50 appearances this season. And the goal of his life in a European final.
Oh, look, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And you're right, Jim. He's had to wait and bide his time, and he's seen others playing. Leon Bailey had a spell where he was playing on a regular basis. But Emi Buendia is clever, he's a smart footballer, and he's got quality, genuine class in those feet.
So we're back underway with Villa in all white, kicking from right to left, attacking the end of the ground that houses the Villa support. And they're in possession with Tielemans, working it forward through the midfield for McGinn, who's trying to get one over the top for Watkins to run at Ginter. Ginter ducked, trying to get out of the way of that, and it hit him on the nape of the back, and it very nearly broke Watkins' way. It is clear. Villa will be able to bring it forward again, out towards the right-hand side for McGinn. Feels as though a lot of the Bosphorus has come down today from the heavens on a filthy day by and large in Istanbul. It had dried up for the majority of the first half, but it's soaking wet again now. Nothing to dampen the spirits of the Aston Villa supporters, whose side are 2 up, and the clock is ticking towards their first major trophy for 30 years.
Yeah, and I'm sure the message from Unai Emery at half-time is, look, you've got a strong lead. Be sensible, be clever. Don't get too carried away. Don't go diving into challenges anywhere on the field. Stand up, force people back, force people sideways. Done your job. What you mustn't do is give something soft away and allow Freiburg some sort of hope. Because I think, Jim, I think that Freiburg, as Aid said, when they came off at half-time, they looked stunned. Absolutely blitzed they were, really, in that last little 10-minute spell.
Andy, Buendia's foul. And it's a free kick to Villa. And you look back at things that have happened over the course of the season and you think about lessons learned. You think back to that Sunderland game. That Villa were in complete control, and they did everything they could to chuck it.
Yes.
But ultimately won it with the Tammy Abraham goal after Diarra missed a great opportunity to seal an extraordinary Sunderland fight back. So they've got to learn the lessons from that day and make sure they manage this. But they're forward here with Rodgers to Buendia. Well tackled on the edge of the penalty area by Ginter. Troy, who struggled tonight, challenged by McGinn, who then thought that he'd won it cleanly. Troy went down with a yelp of pain. It is a free kick to Freiburg in their left-back position. It's 2-0 to Villa with 48 gone.
Yeah, John McGinn just diving in a little bit there on the left-back, Troy. He actually doesn't really catch him, but again, stay on your feet. Doesn't need to go to ground there. But that long ball from Emi Martinez, that's been a real tactic for Villa tonight, into Ollie Watkins. Worked again there, a treat, it really did. 60, 70-yard ball up the middle, Watkins nodding it back to Rodgers, Villa on the front foot.
Freiburg's best player, Manzambi, playing it forward. Out comes Martinez. Now, has he carried that outside the box? The flag is up to indicate an offside.
Yes.
So, free kick to Villa, just outside their penalty area. It's Martinez in goal, Cash, Consapau, Torres and Digne, Lindelof and Tielemans the score of the first goal, McGinn and Buendia the score of the second out wide, and Rodgers and Watkins up front. Freiburg, Tuvalu in goal, Kubler, Ginter, Lienhardt and Troy, Eggestein and Höfler, Bester, Manzambi, who's been the pick of their bunch, and Grifo, and then Matanovic is playing up front. Villa have it at the back with Pau Torres. 40 minutes away from a second Europa League triumph in his career, both under Unai Emery. It would be Emery's fifth. He'll be the first coach to win the competition, even going back into the UEFA Cup days with 3 different clubs. Sevilla tick, Villarreal tick, and already penciled in the tick against Aston Villa's name as well. Here's Watkins coming forward here, driving with real intent, running at Lienhardt, who blocks the shot that comes in from Watkins. It almost went straight back to the Devonian again, but is ultimately going to be cleared up the left-hand side. Back off Watkins, and now Lienhardt can get it away. Manzambi tried to hold it up. Been very well dealt with there by Konsa. Stepping forward and finding Buendia inside the area. Saw the goalkeeper off his line. Tried to chip in, but he took a couple of steps back, and a Tuvalu could make a comfortable save at the end.
Yeah, tried to do him with the outside of his right foot there in the box. He had a little look, Emi Buendia, the goalkeeper, who might have been trying to pinch a yard towards the 6-yard line. And he's actually gone with that with the outside of his right boot.
Eggestein has possession. It's on the Freiburg right-hand side. This game brought to you in association with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Freiburg inside Villa territory, but only just. Bester, with the extravagant ginger beard, laying the ball back for his fullback Kubler. Kubler making a run from the right touchline infield. Lays it off now for Höfler. Different it might have been had he taken that early chance where he snatched at an effort and pulled it only just wide of Martinez's right-hand post. But the 2 goals in a 7-minute spell coming up to half-time have swung this firmly in Villa's favour. Manzambi out on the left-hand side, a young, impressive Swiss, playing it forward into the feet of Matanovic. Matanovic has lost that towards McGinn, and now McGinn pokes it back into Freiburg territory, tries to make it a foot race, and Matanovic, to be fair, did really well to come back and showed great strength and enough pace to be able to get there ahead of McGinn to mop things up for Freiburg, who will build again from a deeper position.
And as you would expect, with a 2-goal cushion now, Villa don't have to go after Freiburg, squeezing them too much. Wait for that right moment to turn the ball over and release Rodgers and Buendia, I think, in particular. Freiburg are in possession. They've had plenty of the ball at the start of the second half, but Villa, I think, lying in wait.
Ball's headed down by Lindelof, helped forward then by Tielemans. Rodgers did enough in the midfield to come and win it, and whenever a player goes down, from both sides to be fair, whenever a player goes down and there's an anguished cry, that tends to force the hand of the referee. Francois Letessier is given a free kick Eggestein's way there. Manzambi back for Eggestein. Ginter, Höfler inside the centre circle. Just with 2 banks of 4 behind the ball, dropping off as it's laid out towards Vincenzo Grifo. Grifo to Manzambi, can't get a shot in on the turn, but he can roll his square for Ginter. Ginter right foot, it should be easy for Martinez, it is. He comes out and catches it as the ball bounced just in front of him. Very gratefully grabbed it in towards his body, now being given the count by the referee. He's going to make sure he bowls it out relatively quickly. He has done, and Villa can build from the back 2-0.
Yeah, good hands from Emi Martinez. We saw him warming up. 1 or 2 concerns about as he was taping his fingers up, but no sign of any problem for the big goalkeeper tonight. Everything he's done, he's dealt with cleanly.
Rodgers with a lovely turn, then lost possession and gets a free kick. No real complaints from him, but in keeping with the officiating tonight, very little has been allowed to go. You're listening to Villa Freiburg in the Europa League. It's live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Sports Bar follows us. So much Villa reaction to come. 03717 223344. As Tielemans plays this latest free kick in, and Watkins on the stretch, got his toes to it. It was just a straight ball over the top, and he curved his run from the left-hand side of the penalty area, bent it round between the centre halves, and he just couldn't get enough of a toe on it to poke it on target.
Yeah, it was literally the size of a boot. If he's I don't know what size he is, Ollie. If he's a 9, if he was a 10, he might have knocked that in the back of the net because it was that close.
Grifo, score of the next goal in this game of paramount importance. If it goes 3-0 to Villa, you can't make a case for Freiburg. Difficult really to make a lucid case for them now, but they did get it back to 2-1. You just never know psychological effect that might have, but at the moment Aston Villa are in complete control. The Germans with just the 1 attempt on target in the entire game so far. They have it in front of us with Besta. Not enough air underneath his ball in. It's easily headed away by Pau Torres. Then Watkins goes up for it, and it's out for a throw that will be taken on the right-hand side. Coach Schuster just acting as the ball boy for a moment. And Manzambi, who's got a decent long throw on him, will trot across to take this. He picked up a ball off a white cone. Didn't like that one. Obviously felt it was just a little bit greasy maybe. So he's found another, which he will launch in towards the near post. Almost gets to the penalty spot with it. It's travelled a long way. Still not cleared. It will be now, though, by Rodgers on the turn. Inside his own penalty area. And Villa survive. It's just a little bit nervy.
Yeah, that was dangerous. Really good throw from Manzambi. And they made that all-important first contact. You get a flick in the box with so many bodies in there. That can easily drop to a red shirt. Thankfully, Villa just about deal with that one. But again, got to be careful of that. Yeah, Buendia there committing a challenge on Manzambi. Be careful.
Well, once
you force people backwards or square, you've done your job. That's all you need to do now, Villa. They don't have to dip a foot into a challenge unnecessarily.
Buendia, of course, one of the players that has been booked, and the ball had long since gone, and he just put the palm of his hand in the back of Manzambi, pushed him to the ground. Freiburg have it. They're 15 yards aside their own half. Work the ball down towards Ginter. Ginter square for Leonhardt. The centre-half brings it forward at a relatively slow tempo. He's trying to draw a Villa challenge in towards him, but none are forthcoming at the moment. Ball played out towards Griffo. Back for Eggestein to Leonhardt again. Travels again at a moderate pace over the halfway line.
General pressure from Villa. No one really squeezing the ball. Everybody back behind, staying compact.
Manzambi. More tempo now as he lays it down towards Bester, and he will be forced away by Digne.
Job done. Well done, Luca Digne. Followed Bester all the way back into his own half. Once he give it back to the centre halves, Digne returning to his left back slot. That's your job done. Well done.
Just a worry though that as Bester had dropped in and the fullback came past him, Kubler, no one had tracked his run. That he's Buendia's man, and Buendia was sort of split between the fullback Kubler and Manzambi, and it's so again now as Kubler's made a run in alongside the big striker Matanovic. Here is Manzambi, works it down the right hand side of the area, and Pau Torres can watch that one past Bester and straight out of play for a goal kick. 12 gone second half. You're listening to Villa against Freiburg in the Europa League. It's live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it, and there's just over half an hour separating Villa from major silverware.
Yeah. When you're actually in front in big matches, you do have a little glance at the clock every now and again, and the Villa boys, I'm sure, will see now it's on 57.5 minutes. Once you get to that 60, that means they got through that first initial quarter of an hour of the second half. Again, that's what it's all about.
They've waited 30 years. They've got just over 30 minutes to go. Buendia, left-hand side of the penalty area. Low ball in.
Yay!
There's number 3. Morgan Rogers tapping in from Buendia's cross. And if there was ever any doubt, it has now been erased. Right across the Midlands. If you're claret and blue, this is your night. Villa, 30 years after they last tasted glory, are going to be getting their hands on silverware. Andy, I'm delighted to say, you're losing that record.
Oh, listen, I'm delighted too, Jim. Don't worry about that. Get that open top bus fired up. Get it ready. Get a bit of juice in it, because it's going to be flying around Birmingham, I think, any time soon. Brilliant, brilliant third goal. Morgan Rogers doing really well to slide in at the near post to steer that past Antovalu. And 3-0 now. It doesn't flatter Villa. I said to you, they're sitting there lying in wait, waiting for the right moment. And they've just grabbed the third. And that finally puts the seal on proceedings tonight, Jim.
That will be that. Freiburg 0, Villa 3. And from Erdington to Edgbaston, Sutton to Solihull, they'll be dancing in the streets. Torres shepherds the ball out of play. It's going to be a goal kick, which will be taken by Emi Martinez. And it's not often the case that supporters come to a showpiece event like this, and when the stakes are so high, when there's so much tension, that they can actually enjoy the game. They can enjoy the last 30 minutes of this.
Oh, they certainly can. It's rare in finals to be able to really enjoy your moment as a player or a fan, but Villa now 3 to the good and looking awesome every time they attack.
So Grifo coming in off the left-hand side finds Manzambi, who's done well. Eggestein, now to Bester, corner of the penalty area. Play back by him. Kubler's ball inside the penalty area, header goes over the bar. Grifo coming to meet it, wouldn't have counted anyway, the flag was up. And it's a free kick. And they've waited 30 years, and there are now only 30 minutes to go. Changes for Freiburg. And they're going to be bringing on Rosenfelder and Höhler. So a double change being made. Max Rosenfelder, number 37, coming on for Nicholas Höfler, whose career ends tonight in Such difficult circumstances for him. His 383rd and final game for Freiburg. A wonderful servant for the club. But he is off. Lucas Höhler coming on, player who's never scored in Europe. His next goal for Freiburg will be his 50th. He's played more than 300 games for the club as well. And he's got half an hour to try and salvage one of the most extraordinary rescue acts in European football history. Morgan Rogers, the scorer of Villa's third, in possession. He's lost it. Now Manzamba is brought down. So Höfler and Leonhardt off, Rosenfelder and Höhler on. We've played 61 minutes on TalkSport.
Yeah, and the coach, the Freiburg coach, Schuster there, might have been toying with the idea of getting those boys on a little quicker, because as soon as the third one goes in, well, look, as hard as they want to try, and to their credit, they've not given it up, Freiburg, but they're just being beaten here by a team with more quality and a little bit more know-how from top to bottom, really. That includes the manager, of course.
We play forward towards the edge of the Villa penalty area, looking for Höhler, and it's cleared. And then it goes out of play for a throw that they're looking to take quickly on the Freiburg left. They reached the final on the back of their home form. They won 11 straight at home, or have won 11 straight, not all of those this season. But away from home they haven't been great. Haven't travelled well in the Bundesliga recently. In fact, the last 4 games they've played away from Freiburg they have lost. And struggling today as the ball is launched in again by Manzambi. Villa can clear after winning the initial header. Watkins pokes it further away, and Manzambi will run round it inside his own half and turn. Threats to go back to his goalkeeper. He does at the second attempt. Back for a two-blue. And his right-footed ball forward over halfway is brought down by Tielemans. Just lost out there to the retreating Matanovic, actually, but as he's speared it forward, it's straight out of play for a Villa throw. The songs are delivered in a thick, brummy accent of jubilation. 63 gone. It's Villa's night, and they know it.
They certainly do. What I love about Villa, when they play like this, and when they're in this sort of situation, if they want to be extravagant, they can. They've got players that can produce, as I mentioned, genuine class, but they also, to a man, they know their job, and then all of a sudden the team ethic again becomes very important to protect what they have. And, you know, Lindelof and Yuri Tielemans, second half, are just supporting the game. They've not had to do anything other than just make sure they stay with their runners and feed the ball forward and trust that Rogers or Watkins will add to the 2 that they had. They've got that all-important third goal, and now it's just about all that work you do during the week, Monday and Friday, through the rain and the wind, back at Bodymore Heath. This is why it's worth it, because now they put it into practice.
Concert, Tielemans, Lindelof taking on the half-turn.
Wow.
Well, he did do brilliantly, as Andy said, because he was given a hospital pass. He had 2 players coming in towards him, but he got there first and turned out. Not only did he make sure that he didn't lose possession, but he actually was able to play a constructive pass. That is why he's done so well in that position. Then the ball is played forward. Watkins nearly got there ahead of the Freiburg goalkeeper. Now they've chipped one over the top, and I think Watkins is offside, although the flag hasn't come up. But now it does, as he lays the ball back towards Luca Digne. Free kick to Freiburg, 25 minutes to go, 3-0 to the Villa.
Yeah, and looks like there's going to be a change.
And a niner for Lindelof. And he should leave the field with cheers ringing in his ears. His career rejuvenated after struggling to get any game time at Manchester United in the latter days at Old Trafford. And he's only been a bit part player really for much of the season with Villa, but he's stepped into an unfamiliar position when he's been needed. He has performed with real aplomb, and again tonight. And after the frustrations of the final 5 years ago, he's going to get his medal tonight. He comes off, he's replaced by Amadou Onana. It's
been great, Victor Lindelof. I think actually ever since he's come to the club, when he's had to deputise as a centre-half, he always does a really steady job. He was a particularly shrewd acquisition, I think, and since he's gone into midfield when Villa have needed him, done great. Nothing flamboyant, nothing too silly. Not trying to do stuff that he can't do or shouldn't be doing. Just doing his job in there and letting those around him go and play.
Freiburg have it at the back. Still inside their own half as we approach the midway stage of this second half here on Talk Sport. Live in Istanbul, if you're just joining us. KG opening 40 minutes. Villa the better side. Not an awful lot to show for it. For a brilliant set piece was fired home from a Tielemans volley on the edge of the penalty area. Buendia's goal in first half stoppage time even better, and then he's got the assist from Morgan Rogers tap-in. He did very well to create the opening for himself with a sharp movement towards the near post. 3-0 Villa lead it with a quarter of the game remaining, and the die has long since been cast. None has been brought down here. It's a free kick to Villa 10 yards inside the Freiburg half. Andy?
Yeah, well look, you know, Amadou Onana is an experienced boy, so he can use his height to great effect in both 18-yard boxes, understands the game. All he has to do now is make sure that he blocks, denies balls into their forward players, and just keeps feeding and ticking the game over nicely.
Well, breaking news, TalkSport understands Southampton's appeal against the sanctions imposed yesterday has failed. More details on that as the night has gone on, but TalkSport understands that the appeal has failed and that the playoff final will be Hull against Middlesbrough, live on TalkSport on Saturday. It's a breaking news story and we'll keep you updated with that. Buendia getting the ball out to the Aston Villa right. Can they get a fourth? Hooked in high inside the penalty area. Tobalou, who has had a fantastic start to his career. He's developed a reputation for being a brilliant saver of penalties, and he's got extraordinary ratio. I think he's saved 11 in his career, and he's only 23. He's caught that, no problem at all, and bowls it out. Eggestein will get it to his left-hand side, and Rosenfelder, the young centre-half, who's only back from injury tonight after 3 months out of the team, can play it forward. He's lost out. McGinn getting it forward. Here's Watkins up against Ginter. Options to his left-hand side. And Ginter recovered well. Just as it looked as though Watkins might roll it square for Buendia. He used him as the decoy. Try to take on Ginter, who recovered and puts it out for a corner.
I think Ollie fancies a goal now. He wants one. And again, he might get another chance. I can see it happening. That was a good situation for him. He might have done a little better there. The step over and the first touch after it was a little clumsy, and it just allowed the centre-half to recover and make a challenge. But as they so often do, Villa, every time they now turn the ball over, you think they can go through and score. I really do.
We've got McGinn, sing the Villa fans, who will take this corner from in front of them. On the right flank, swept in very deep. Onana hits the outside of the post with a header. And it comes back out for Digne. Digne on the corner of the penalty area, back out for Rogers. I mean, the angle was tight for Onana. He still very nearly squeezed it in. Well, I have another opportunity as Villa won another corner here. And Onana's got his head in his hands.
Yeah, it's unlucky actually. It was a really good ball in from John McGinn. Whipped with his left foot off the right side, all the way to the far post. And Onana's difficult to stop like that. One-on-one, he's such a tall guy. And he met it well. It was a tight angle, but it hit the outside of the post.
So the latest corner will be taken by Buendia. It's Villa 6. They lead 3-0. He's trying to finesse this win now. Buendia, the edge of the penalty area. It's Matty Cash, and it is 15 rows back.
Lucky. He's done that a few times this season as well. Matty Cash on the edge of the box. That one came to him there, shifted it onto his right foot, and unfortunately just leant back a bit and skied it.
Well, Villa next in action on Sunday. They go to Manchester City, a game that could have been of huge consequence. It isn't now, but we will of course keep you informed on Talk Sport. Villa only needing a point in that game to make sure they finish in the top 4. Or will they be able to spoil what we anticipate is going to be Pep's leaving party? We've got news of that around the grounds as the denouement of the Premier League season, including the relegation tussles involving Spurs and West Ham, one of whom will go down. Spurs point at home to Everton, you would imagine, will be enough for them to survive. We've got it all covered for you. Our live action, live over on TalkSport 2, a Sunday afternoon, comes from Anfield. Liverpool against Brentford, which could yet have ramifications, and Liverpool's Champions League place not yet guaranteed. It's all to come. Final day of the season, Sunday, on the TalkSport network. Here's Manzambi for Freiburg, who are 3 goals down. Manzambi's ball delivered in towards the far post, brought down by Griffo. McGinn very quickly on the scene, and the Italian international plays it back, swept in, and Martinez comes out and catches it. A little collision at the near post involving Konsa, but he was the player that was fouled, and it's played forward, all the way forward. Now contact between Rosenfelder and Watkins. The referee immediately waves his arms across his body, and he decided that was a foul. Potentially he would have had to think about a red card, but at no stage did Watkins have the ball under control. The referee lets it go. No complaints from Ollie Watkins. Going to make another double change, Freiburg, in a moment. They've got a free kick here, which Bester will take. They're going to bring on Scherhant and Makengo, who are the 2 players that started at the weekend who haven't started tonight. Captain's armband thrown at Bester by Griffo as he leaves the field. And Derry Scherhant, who ended the longest goal drought of his career at the weekend, comes on. The other player to come on is going to be the young left-back Jordi Makengo, the Frenchman, and he'll replace Lucas Kubla.
Yeah, well, at Freiburg in this situation have just got to get bodies on their fresh legs, just to see if they can pinch something, a goal to give them, breathe a little bit more life into their game. No signs of it really happening just yet. Let's hope Villa deal with this free kick,
which will be taken by Bester. Swung in very deep. Martinez comes out, hasn't got it cleanly, does at the second attempt as he just palmed it down towards the edge of the penalty area. And then it was the centre-half Rosenfelder that fired one in, didn't get hold of it, it bounced towards goal, and Martinez could take a step back and then bring that under control.
Great play. Brilliant football from Villa down from Digne into Ollie Watkins, couple of short passes. Anana has it, it's now out on the right side with Cash, but again now showing the composure needed when they've got the ball to keep it.
Now Torres over Watkins' head, and we'll go through away to our left-hand side. Don't forget Gabby tomorrow morning with a real taste and a picture of how the night unfolded in Istanbul. It'll be a long one. And he's on air at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning alongside Ali McCoy as broadcasting from Istanbul continues live on TalkSport tomorrow. Your chance to react tonight. 371 722 3344 on the sports bar. Not just events here, of course, but plenty more besides, including the news as we understand it here on TalkSport that Southampton's appeal has failed today. There's Matanovic trying to work the ball down towards Bester. Good defending from Digne. Still a job to be done here by Villa. Want to protect the clean sheet. Buendia's got a goal and an assist. Back inside his penalty area for Torres to Anana and out towards the other side for Cash. And Villa can bring it forth. 15 minutes to go.
Again, Unai Emery in the technical area. He's cool, he's calm, he's composed. He's always standing, pointing and barking out instructions and orders to players, but it's as calm as I've seen him for some time, and quite right. I think even he's allowing himself to really enjoy this one and soak it up.
Yeah, but he hasn't always been afforded that luxury in the previous Europa League finals. Great ball forward, great movement from McGinn. Came in from the blind side of the referee to pick it up in the midfield. Now he's got it on the edge of the penalty area. Setting up Tielemans. It's Buendia. Oh, he's hit the side netting. Well, on a night where the goal scoring has been extraordinary, that would have been an extraordinary goal. Emi Buendia just couldn't find the finish at the end of the best move of the night.
How good was that? The quality of the football there was just brilliant. John McGinn, the architect, and Emi Buendia having waltzed all the way almost 2 or 3 yards from the goal. You think he's just going to pop it over the top of the goalie as he lies down. The ball from Tielemans there as well is exquisite. If he just dinks it over the goalie, you'd back him more than probably any other player in the team to just dink that one into the back of the net. But great football, brilliant stuff from Villa. And then they're now winning this game with a real swagger. They are absolutely bossing it from front to back and looking like they can go and score more.
So Manzambi is down hurt at the moment for Freiburg, and that gives me an opportunity to update you on tonight's breaking news story that the EFL have confirmed in the statement in the last few moments that Hull against Middlesbrough will be the Championship playoff final. It's going to kick off at 3:30 on Saturday. Southampton have released a statement of their own confirming their disappointment for everyone involved at the club. TalkSport understand that Tonda Eckert will be sacked following the failed appeal. It'll be interesting to see whether a ban, potentially a worldwide ban, comes in for Eckert on the back of that. But that's the situation as we understand it. Eckert expected to be sacked. Southampton have released a statement confirming their disappointment. The playoff final will be Hull against Middlesbrough. After that, Southampton appeal failed, and it will kick off 3:30 Saturday afternoon, and it will be live on TalkSport, playing for a place in the Premier League. These two playing for European silverware. For Freiburg, the added incentive of getting into the Champions League. They're going to be playing Conference League football next season. So they have another corner after Watkins brought the ball forward, and he just acts as the conductor of the Villa choir in that crowd away to our left-hand side, waving his arms above his head as Villa win corner number 7 as they look for goal number 4.
You know, he's great at that, Ollie Watkins, in terms of travelling, carrying the ball and just disturbing central defenders. He's very, very good at that. Very good at that. If he had a yard more pace, Ollie, he'd be a real handful. Someone that most defenders would find it very difficult to stop.
So the latest Villa corner taken by Cash, near post header wasn't forthcoming, comes from McGinn. And saved by Tubalo, diving away to his left. I mean, he's got an increasingly impressive catalogue of goals in this Europa League run, John McGinn, but he wasn't able to add one there.
Yeah, good strike. Then it sort of ran round it a bit there, John McGinn, onto his left foot, but really good hit.
Here's Manzambi at the other end, firing a hofer ball inside the penalty area, looking for Lucas Hurler, but it was clear. Manzambi then tried to win it back, as done so by foul means not fair, and he can't hide his frustration as the decision goes against him. And Onana is straight across the stricken McGinn, and he picks him up and hauls him back to his feet with a big grin on his face.
He just does that so well, John. He does it instinctively when he's protecting the ball. He always steps across, gets his body in. He always laughs at the size of his own backside, and he uses it so well. He really does, because he parks it, he backs it into people, you know, and it's very difficult to run round.
Well, someone's got to play my body double, haven't they? Martinez will take this free kick. 10 to go. 3-0 Villa lead. And the Freiburg supporters, to their credit, away to our right-hand side, will be heartbroken that the team have been second best tonight, just haven't really turned up, but still the supporters there, still the red and white flags unfurled and being waved, but in vain. Second major final in their history, by far the most significant, and it's going to end like the first in defeat. The goalkeeper of Tubalo will clear. They are the type of side, though, that may well go very deep in the Conference League next season. I think that they'll be quite confident that that is the case if they can keep a lot of this side together. I think someone will come and get Manzambi, but most of the rest of the team, you would imagine, will still be there or thereabouts. Pau Torres, I beg your pardon, playing the ball forward through the midfield, and then Rodgers was given a shove, pushed to the ground there by the substitute Sheerhant to give Aston Villa a free kick, and they're going to be bringing the two former Champions League finalists off the bench, Ian Matson and Jadon Sancho. Some record this for Sancho, a third consecutive season in which he's played in a European final, all for different clubs in different competitions. Yeah,
well, Emi Buendia is walking off, and not only tonight, brilliant goal from him tonight, but what a key part he's played in this campaign. Think about the penalty at Villa Park against Forest. Up he steps and knocked that one in. And off he comes tonight. He's been absolutely brilliant.
A few weeks ago, he'd only ever scored one goal in European football in his career. Now he's got 3 in 4 European ties, and including a goal and an assist in the final. So Sancho is on for Buendia. The other change, Maatsen for Digne, a straight swap at left back, and Maatsen, the Dutchman, in space in front of us, just played in here by Pau Torres. Back for Jadon Sancho to Tielemans. 8.5 minutes to go, and Villa lead 3-0. Comfortable in the extreme at the moment. Konsa getting it forward. Rolled into the feet of Ollie Watkins. And out of play for a throw. At the end of March, it didn't feel as though Ollie Watkins was going to be making the English squad for the World Cup. Now, it's going to be very hard to justify his omission.
Do you know what? He's done everything right, Ollie. Took it on the chin. You know, didn't spit his dummy out in any way, shape or form. Took it on the chin. Trusted himself, backed himself. He gets a few chances, he can knock a few in. And I think now, certainly Thomas Tuchel must be looking at him and thinking, look, if I do need someone to try and affect a game for 10 minutes, well, there's a player there that's, I think, ready to do so.
Now that squad being announced Friday morning, and you will hear first news of that on TalkSport. Reaction throughout the day, including in the usual place of the TalkSport podcast, with Adrian Durham with his assessment on that England squad on Friday. Freiburg, they're on a Wednesday night of glory in Turkey. European glory for Aston Villa, only a mile from the Asian coast. Freiburg have the ball with Eggestein at the back. To his right-hand side for Ginter. Ginter back for Eggestein again. 7 minutes to go here on TalkSport. And again, long since over bar the considerable shouting from the Villa fans. They've got another free kick here conceded by McGinn as the centre-half Rosenfelder makes his way forward. And McGinn is cautioned for that. It's a free kick, about 12 yards outside the penalty area.
I don't blame John McGinn for taking a card there. Rosenfelder had actually made a good run from the halfway line. He was bearing down on the Villa 18-yard box. John McGinn just decided to stick a leg out, trip him up, take the card. I think that's a pretty shrewd call at this stage of the game.
6 to go, 3-0 Villa. One back here, and just never know. But it doesn't feel as though there's any jeopardy at all. In comes the free kick, swept in very deep. Manzambi round the back, good save Martinez. His best of the night. It was headed back across the face of goal, and again, actually, it wouldn't have counted because the offside flag has come up.
Yeah, nice ball in. You can see they work a lot on their set plays as well. They've been decent, actually, and that was a good delivery. Manzambi climbing at the back post. Emi Martinez, strong hand on it, and then the flag goes up to just suggest Manzambi had strayed offside.
You're listening to Villa Freiburg in the Europa League. It's live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it, book now at enterprise.co.uk. On a night of impending Aston Villa glory. Martinez in no hurry to take this free kick for the offside. Punts it forward. It's just drifted over Manzambi, who's just dropping back. Kenga can't get in there, and then the second attempt he can is a good sliding challenge from the young Frenchman, puts it out. He's come on at left back, incidentally. So Troy switched from left back to right back when they took Kubler off. But they're going to make their final change here, and we're going to see Gunter come on to replace Vesta. So Christian Gunter, who made his Freiburg debut back in 2012, former German international, on for his 468th appearance for the club, whom he's represented with such a plum of dignity throughout his career, but he's coming on a losing course here with 5 minutes to go. Throw taken, bounces into the chest of Rodgers inside the penalty area. He's chipped it in and won another corner, which will be taken on the Villa right. 4 to go, 3-0 Villa.
Look, ordinarily, you don't need to whip this one in the box, but go for it. I mean, look, it's already an incredible night for Villa, and it's such a convincing victory. As I said, usually now 3 up, you might take it short, keep the ball in a wide area. I think John McGinn might swing this one in.
Raises his right arm above his head. Does look as though it's going to come in. The assistant referee just stands in front of the ball because the referee has seen something. Now he's happy and allows McGinn to deliver, and it is hitting directly and very deep. Maatsen coming around the back, couldn't control it initially, just does so on the dead ball line before it goes out of play for a goal kick. Clearance not the best, is then come off the chest of Rodgers. Tielemans is in there, Konsa there as well. Konsa shoved to the ground, wins a free kick, and a little bit of frustration running over there. The young substitute Sherhan pushing Konsa over, and ironic cheers from the Villa supporters. The free kick goes their way. They're going to make more changes, and what a moment this will be for Tyrone Mings at the back end of his career at the age of 33. He's in the Villa side that lost the last time that they played in the League Cup back in 2020. He is going to get the opportunity to come on, and Douglas Luiz, who started the season playing in this competition for Nottingham Forest, will also come on and will get his winner's medal with just a little bit of sweat on the shirt as well. So Mings and Douglas Luiz, the players that are coming on, and big ovations for Pau Torres and Tielemans.
Yeah, Pau Torres, classy night from him. Typically unflustered performance, and Yuri Tielemans, he's a top-class central midfielder. He's got goals in him, can pass, can play, and another brilliant display from him. And lovely for Unai Emery to give the likes of Tyrone Mings some minutes, and Maatsen and Jadon Sancho and Douglas Luiz make all these changes.
Mings another player who has had horrendous time through injury. Spent a lot of it on the treatment table over the last few seasons. Would have dreamt of a little moment like this, and not for one moment suggesting this is his Aston Villa swan song, but something he will be able to look back on. The day that the young man who started playing non-league football at Yate Town ended up playing in a European final. He's got the ball at his feet on the left-hand side of the penalty area. He's pinged a great 60-yard ball forward. Watkins tried to flick on, but Rodgers couldn't get up there to keep up with him. And Freiburg bring it away at the back. 90 seconds to go, 3-0 to the Villa.
It's been a real feature of the game tonight from Villa, the way they've gone long. You know, they usually keep the ball with the centre halves, and they invite teams to come and press them and try and play through the middle of the park. Tonight, Emi Martinez has gone longer to Ollie Watkins, more than I've ever seen him do it.
Here's Makengo. How to play off Cash. Throw that will be taken on the far side. We're well inside the final minute of the 90 now. Just a question of how many extra will be added. The Villa fans are going to be singing their side home from here and long into the night, both back home and here on the banks of the Bosphorus. This Turkish city that strides two continents will be very much Aston Bull tonight. Throw to be taken on the Freiburg right, and they're very much in the territory now, just hoping for a consolation. Manzambi with the ball in his hand, preparing to launch it inside the penalty area. Flicked on at the near post and cleared. Sancho can't get a foot in to knock it further away. Comes back out for Manzambi again. Decent ball in, well headed away by Ezri Konsa. Comes out on the left-hand side of the penalty area for another ball in. Douglas Luiz got his head to that one. And he comes down off a Villa player, goes out for a throw, and I think that might be it. I think it's the referee indicating that there's no need for any stoppage time. Or has he signalled 1 minute? He has. Just 1 minute to go. You've waited 30 years, Aston Villa fans. You're a minute away.
Yeah. Do you know, there's Villa fans here tonight, Jim, that have never seen their team win a trophy. Well, that all changes right now. Right now. and they should be proud of this team because it's a really good one. It's a proper team, it is, and they produced a stunning performance tonight.
Watkins helping it on here. Again, trying to hook it back in. It will be cleared. Aston Villa fans, the full-time whistle is about to blow. It is a night of Villa glory. And unless you're in your 50s, you've never seen anything like this from an Aston Villa perspective. The long wait is over. They have done it. A side whose finest hour came back in 1982, and the absence of glorious years since that has written it in claret and blue folklore. Well, tonight they've penned another chapter. For the European Cup in Rotterdam, read the Europa League in Istanbul. But tonight, this wasn't a night of injuries and jeopardy. This was a night where 3 goals in a 20-minute spell either side of half-time got the job done very, very comfortably. A brilliant performance from Unai Emery's men have warmed to their task as the season has gone on. And 30 years since they last won anything, they've now got their hands on silverware again. And those in claret and blue all around the stadium, jumping up and down, enjoying the moment, taking it all in, seeing the sights that they will remember for the rest of their lives. Aston Villa are back on the European stage. They've won the Europa League. Many congratulations to Unai Emery, who lifts this competition for a record 5th time and who's masterminded Aston Villa's rise from the relegation zone in the Premier League to European glory in less than 4 years. The man is a genius. His side have done them proud, and the fans here tonight, many of whom have never firsthand been able to experience a night like this, have memories that will last a lifetime. Freiburg 0, Aston Villa 3. Villa have won the Europa League.